Hi everyone, and welcome to 164 Diecast. In our third video, we are looking at the Hot Wheels Redline Club exclusive single release custom 72 Datsun 240Z. This highly detailed 1/64 scale car, released in July of 2025, is an exclusive to members of the Mattel Redline Club and could only be purchased online through the club. The sales price was $28 and it sold out quickly. The car color is Spectraflame Olive and is packaged on a blister card and was shipped in what Mattel calls a car keeper clamshell case. The car showcased here is a customized 1972 Datsun 240Z and features an opening hood that reveals a detailed inline-six engine. This model has real rider wheel and tires, and the license plate reads Z Envy. The Mattel product number for this car is JCP26. The Nissan Motor Company, known in the US at this time as Datsun, began sales of a new model in October of 1969. This model was called the Fairlady Z for the Japanese market under the Nissan brand and as the Datsun 240Z in the US. The internal Nissan designation for this car was S30 and Z29. Sales began in the US on October 22, 1969. Per the Wikipedia website, Nissan/Datsun sold over 45,000 units through the 71 model year and over 50,000 and 40,000 in 1972 and 1973 respectively. The 240Z designation lasted until the 1974 model year when it was updated to the 260Z. The US version of the car was powered by a 2.4-liter inline-six producing 151 horsepower. The Japanese variant had a slightly smaller inline-six producing 21 fewer horsepower. Overdrive Magazine's website has an excellent information fact sheet on the 1972 Datsun 240Z and includes information such as available colors, engine statistics, vehicle dimensions, and standard as well as optional equipment that was available for that model year. An interesting option you could buy was a factory-installed 8-track tape player. The Overdrive Magazine website shows the price of this car in 1972 as $4,106, with Nissan selling 52,628 units of the 240Z that year. You can read more about the 1972 Datsun 240Z at en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Nissan Z car and at overdrive-magazine.com/2022/08/16/1972 Datsun 240Z. For me, this car brings back memories of my high school summer days. A friend of mine had one of these 240Z cars and was the envy of everyone in our circle of friends. The Z car is still in production to this day and is in its 7th generation. This 7th generation car was introduced on August 17, 2021 and became available for purchase in the 2023 model year. It became the first Z car to not have a number in the name and was simply called the Nissan Z. I hope you enjoyed our short look back at Nissan Z car history. And, as always, thank you for stopping by 164 Diecast, and we will see you on the next video.